Behind.
Paul Monaghan for the SNP, 9 minutes.
Thank you, Mr Chairman, and thank you to the Honourable Member for Tiverton and Honiton for securing this debate and on his election to the chair of the EFRA Select Committee. I was interested in the comments that he made. I agree with them and I share the social and business concerns that you've highlighted. As the member for the UK's northernmost mainland constituency of Caithness, Sutherland and Easter Ross, I have seen some progress in the of broadband in rural areas. There's still much to do, and I think we all share the view that the internet, and perhaps broadband in particular, has the potential to change our lives, perhaps especially among those in rural areas where shrinking distances can really make life-changing impacts. A huge amount of business, Mr Chairman, in the modern world relies on the internet for research, advertising, selling and communicating. Broadband, by letting people work remotely or run small businesses from their home, is clearly good for local economies. It's for all these reasons that we in the Scottish National Party believe that there should be a universal service obligation for broadband, and we are working towards that objective. The Scottish Government, through their Digital Scotland Superfast Broadband programme, is working to deliver 95% coverage of superfast broadband by the end of 2017 in Scotland. And this initiative has already delivered £400 million of investment to extend fibre broadband access to areas where commercial organisations simply would not otherwise go. The programme consists of 2 regional projects, one covering the Highlands and Islands area and the other covering the rest of Scotland. Both of these contracts were awarded to BT in 2013. The Digital Scotland rollout has covered more than 394,000 premises since it started and is more than halfway to its target of making the technology available to 750,000 homes and workplaces by the end of the contract period. Just 2 weeks ago, £400 million Digital Scotland Superfast Broadband programme and the larger £13.4 billion Scottish Rural Development Programme for 2014-2020. The Scottish National Party has a strong track record of supporting Scotland's rural and remote communities, and we will continue to identify further opportunities to boost Scotland's rural economies in the future. I would like to see the UK Government support these efforts and to implement complementary actions to ensure that rural communities fully benefit from the rollout of broadband and indeed 4G technologies, in addition to connectivity in its broadest sense. I am aware that the UK Government has committed to ensure that 95% of households can access superfast broadband at a rate of 24 megabits per second by 2017, and I applaud that commitment, just as I applaud the Scottish Government's enhanced strategic approach. However, the time has come, Mr Chairman, for the UK Government to be creative and innovative in its thinking and to prepare now for the future, particularly for the future of our remote and rural areas. I believe the UK Government must begin to consider issuing licences and providing the necessary financial incentives and support to encourage providers that have the technological capacity to deliver broadband to the rural communities that may never receive broadband services through conventional routes, and to allow those communities to exercise fully their civil rights and to participate fully in our society. Mr Chairman, for the UK Government to consider the supply opportunities for the 5% of households that are unlikely to have a broadband service before 2017, I think it's now time that we consider high-quality service measured in terms of speed, volume and latency, and to commit to ensuring that 100% of households have the opportunity to access broadband at, say, a minimum of 20 megabits per second with a latency of not more than 30 milliseconds. I urge the UK Government today to deliver the Scottish Government's call for a universal service obligation for broadband and to recognise that this crucial technology must now be considered as a basic utility, and a utility that is essential for those in remote and rural areas if they are to exercise their civic rights. seems clear, Mr Chairman, that broadband will not reach all communities in the immediate future, and that there is consensus here today on the fact that the UK Government must now intervene to secure the necessary investments in our rural communities. I support the Honourable Member for Tiverton and Honiton's questions, and I look forward to the Minister's response, and also what he will now do to take forward the objective of establishing a universal service obligation for broadband.
Susan Ellen Jones, 10 minutes.